Now on Rack, we would like to take a look at the recent events around the European Border and Coast Guard Agency, also known as Frontex. My guest is a Swedish politician and member of the European Parliament, Mr. Charlie Weimers. Mr. Weimers is co-chair of the European Conservatives and Reformist Migration Working Group. Welcome back to TVP World. Welcome back to Rack. Hello, Mr.
Thank you, Michael.
Mr. Weimers, we had 2 weeks ago Fabrice Leggeri, who was a Frontex Director General, and actually he was, I would say, ousted in a very quiet manner. There wasn't too much discussion about something really profound. It looks like he was fired because he was actually protecting the borders of European Union. Isn't it a very bad reason to fire a chief of the frontline security agency?
Yes, he was forced to resign because of the continuous activities directed at Frontex for fulfilling their mandate, which is to support border states in the European Union in securing the border. What happened to Fabrice Leggeri was no less than a scandal. And he told you about how the management board of Frontex, without his knowledge, decided to establish an order where he, as the director, would be forced to obey recommendations by the so-called human rights officers and even NGOs. And this is a type of command structure that reminds us of the Red Army, right? You had the military commanders, and then you had the political commissariers. The EU is now on migration policy under Ylva Johansson imposing its own political commissars. And this hurts European border security. It's a scandal.
Yeah, Charlie, this is something absolutely profound in terms of because the reasons for which we saw this kind of procedure being executed within the Frontex was related to 2 serious crises, security crises in terms of European border security and generally in broader sense the European security. The Lithuania-Belarus border and the attack on the border last year was one of the reasons for which he received a report that Frontex activity was, according to those political officers, an act against the basic rights of those people who were illegal migrants. The result would have to be just giving up the operation on the border. I mean, if we are talking about giving Frontex some more authority, we're simply not going to have borders secured in Europe in future.
No, I mean, let's remind ourselves about the situation at the Polish-Lithuanian border with Belarus at the time. I mean, here we had a dictator, Lukashenko, who flied in migrants, economic migrants from Iraq, a state that is not and was not at the time at war. So this was economic migrants. And Leggeri was encouraged and pushed to bus these economic migrants from Belarusian territory into the European Union, something that he refused to do. And for refusing to do that, to refusing to obey the recommendations from these human rights officers, he had to pay a price, and his resignation was the price.